Air dribbling is one of the most sought after mechanics by all mid-ranked players. By mid-ranked players, I mean specifically the Diamond and Champion range. When you're in this range, you're starting to make that push to either Champion or Grand Champ, and air dribbling comes across as one of those mechanics that will really just help you elevate your gameplay. However, a lot of pros and other famous members of the community have suggested that these ranks stay away from practicing air dribbling too much, as there are other mechanics that are more important to focus on at these ranks. I thought it would be a good idea to test this myself, as I am currently in Champion 3 and am an active member of this community. So over the course of the next 7 days, I challenged myself to only practice air dribbling and see how much it truly elevated my gameplay and rank. Also, when I set this challenge for myself, I established one rule, and that was that for every single day of this challenge, I would spend at least an hour on air dribbling. Without further ado, let's get into the training. So for day 1, the first thing I had to do was establish a benchmark. It is worth noting that I have made it all the way to Champ 3 without learning how to properly air dribble. So as you can see from these clips, it's pretty much what you would expect from somebody who doesn't know how to air dribble. The takeoff's wrong, I can't carry the ball well, and really just no control whatsoever. And the clip that I'm about to show you is the best air dribble I could get. So I had a lot of work to do. The first step I took is I went to YouTube, just looked at different air dribbling tutorials. From there I found this very helpful air dribble tutorial that I will link in my description. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it though. This was a very helpful video for me, and it came with a training pack. So from there I went to the training pack and started practicing these fundamentals. Really not too much progress on the first day. I mean, I kind of got the transition off the wall to a better position, but I still couldn't really carry the ball. Kind of expected. I didn't really expect too much out of this day anyways. From there, I kind of tried to lay out the plan going forward. So day 2, right off the bat, I started to see a little bit more consistency in my air dribbles. They still weren't very high quality, but I found that I was getting more and more successful air dribbles even if they weren't on target. And this was kind of just my training regimen for the first 2 days. I really just hit training packs, specifically 2 different training packs. The one that was recommended in the video, and then the other one is Wall to Air Dribble. It's one of the most popular training packs in Rocket League. I spent about an hour and a half on day 2 just really nailing down those fundamentals in the training packs. Day 3. Well, day 3, again, starting to see more progress, even more consistency in my air dribbling. I was able to carry the ball a little more effectively, and I felt like I was starting to get the hang of training packs, so I decided to go into free play. Well, this is when the reality check set in. I realized I wasn't even close to getting to where I wanted to be in terms of air dribbling. And it's because of this simple reason. In these wall to air dribble training packs, the setup's perfect. It's exactly where you want it to be, or if not, it's very close. Some training packs, you're not even taking the ball up the wall, it does it for you, and you're just meeting the ball up there. And even in free play, there's so many different factors. You're not going to get the perfect setup as often as you would in training, when you get the perfect setup almost every time. And as you can see by these clips, it was a little disappointing to see how poorly I was doing in free play. But from there, I decided I needed to make a change to my training regimen, which I would start on day 4, which would be a warm-up in the training pack to get the fundamentals down, make sure I'm good to go, and then from there, migrate into free play. Alright, day 4. Day 4, I started to see significant progress in free play. I was still a little inconsistent with setting the ball up properly. I realized that was one of my biggest issues actually, and that's the one thing that the training pack doesn't offer. I was breezing through the training packs at this point. To be honest, I would say if I went into a training pack at any given moment, I could get anywhere from 50 to 75% of my air dribbles on target if I really focused and tried and wasn't trying new things. And on day 4, I decided to go into some different matches to see if I could get any air dribbles in game. As you would expect, getting an air dribble goal in game is even harder than in free play because you have to deal with opponents and their positioning, and you need to have the right situation in order to even do an air dribble in the first place. But overall, day 4 was very successful. I actually was very close on one air dribble in game, and I managed to hit one later on in the day. And those clips are playing in the background right now. So day 5, I basically focused on free play for most of the day. I realized that I was getting to the point where the training pack was still a good warm-up, but I only needed to spend like 5 minutes at most just to get in the right mindset of doing proper air dribbling. I noticed a significant difference from day 3 and day 4. I was getting much more consistent with my air dribbling. The carrying was more efficient. I was able to get under the ball more often. And I even started trying different variations like an air dribble double touch and other things like that. I did manage to hit an in-game air dribble over the couple games that I played as well, but my connection was unstable during the game, so when I pulled the replay, it's just too laggy to show. And I think the biggest lesson I learned from day 5 is that I really need to make sure I'm putting that emphasis on free play for warming up and working on air dribbles, just because it's more practical and more realistic to what you'll see in game than compared to a trading pack. So day 6 was a roller coaster, to be honest. I was seeing progress in my air dribbles, but at the same time in free play, I was going through these long periods of continuous struggling, really just failing to get the ball off the wall properly, messing up my carrying. And I think that was just a little bit of fatigue, doing the same thing over and over and over again every day. Really just kept trying to work past it. I did manage to hit another in-game air dribble, but what I started to realize is that even as I got better at air dribbling and I was able to practice air dribbling in-game more often, I was finding that it was very difficult to score, even though I had this new skill. Finally, day 7. Day 7 went very well in my opinion. I only spent about an hour in day 7, and the final result I was very satisfied with for only taking 7 days to do this challenge. Our training packs hitting like 75-80% of my air dribbles on target once I got warmed up, and even in free play, very consistent. I would say about a third to half of my air dribbles were on target and going in free play. But again, I decided to spend a lot more time in actual matches on day 7, and again, still finding the same result. Even as I continued to get better, the opportunities for air dribbles in game is quite a rare occurrence, more rare than I thought at my rank. What I found on day 7 is that I still continue to struggle to find opportunities to shoot off an air dribble in game, and I actually found it more practical to off-wall aerial or air dribble pass as opposed to shoot. But either way, I'm very happy with my results, and I can definitely consider myself effective at air dribbles considering the rank that I'm at. So now that I've gone through all this, what advice do I have to offer? Well, after 7 days of air dribbling, I could say there's definitely benefits and downsides to practicing it at the champion level. I will start by saying that if you are below champion, I really don't think that it's worth your time to practice this too much, and I'll get more into that later. But even at the champion level, I don't think it's a mechanic that you should spend all of your time practicing on. I think it's beneficial to know how to do it at a basic level, but past that, I really don't think you need it. And my first claim to support that is that even before this 7-day challenge, I had made it all the way to Champion 3, Division 4 in doubles without even knowing how to air dribble properly. I almost never air dribbled in game. If I did, I would only score off an air dribble maybe once a week, and I was playing 3 or 4 times a week for a couple hours a day. And I think another big reason as to why it's not super important to focus on practicing air dribbling all the time is that there's really just not a lot of opportunity where it's beneficial for you to shoot off an air dribble in Champion. A lot of Champion 3, Champion 2 games, which is what I'm more familiar with, those games are won on the ground more often than not. So taking it up wall presents a couple of issues. The first one being, at Champion 2, Champion 3, you are good at air dribbling, but there's still probably about a 50-50 chance that you get a quality shot on net. And if you get a quality shot on net off the air dribble, there's still probably another 50-50 chance that the defender's going to save it. And when this happens, whether you have a low quality shot or the defender makes a save, more often than not, you're put in a very bad position. Either leaving your goal wide open if you're playing 1v1s, or leaving a 1v2 in the backfield for your teammate in doubles. And in my 1v1 games, doubles games, and even standard games, I find that ground dribbling is way more effective than air dribbling at the champion level anyways. And I think part of it is at the champion level, you're not as solid from a mechanical standpoint in the air as you would be in like Grand Champ 1 when aerial play really starts to become a factor. So now that I talked about a couple of reasons that maybe you shouldn't be practicing air dribbling too much, I want to explain why it was helpful for me. And the first reason is, while in these matches, I might have been struggling with air dribbles, but I noticed that my off-wall aerials were significantly improved. I think that practicing the setup of an air dribble off the wall allows you to practice good aerial control off the wall, positioning yourself in a good spot so that you can jump off the wall and hit the ball effectively. And I also think that air dribble passing would be a more effective route than air dribble shooting. I think this would especially be effective in high champ lobbies like Champ 2 and Champ 3. Knowing how to air dribble pass could be effective in switching the field, and it puts you in a better position in case the play goes poorly, you're not as far up as if you were to miss an air dribble shot. Another thing with air dribble passing is that it does not have to be as precise and perfect as an air dribble shot. There is a little bit of room for error. If you do miss your mark on the air dribble pass, but your teammate's still able to at least hit the ball, you're still keeping yourself in a better position than completely losing possession off an air dribble shot. I also noticed that when I practiced air dribbling for 7 days, I got a lot better at aerial control. Aerial control becomes important in Champion. I know that I said that most champ games are won on the ground, but there is still an aerial aspect, and you need to be able to be effective with your aerial shots, not necessarily your air dribble shots. So I think my official recommendation for people practicing air dribbling, I think that a good place to start to learn the basics of air dribbling would be around Diamond 3, Champ 1, and by learning the basics and just being able to score air dribble without using too much air roll. And this can just be in free play, it doesn't even have to be in match. That way you have that option if it presents itself. And I think you learn how to score air dribbles with minor air rolls around Champ 2, Champ 3. And that way you can really start to utilize the air dribble pass and a little bit of the air dribble shot depending on the situation. Because there are situations in Champ 2 and Champ 3 especially where you can use an air dribble to score and it be a viable option. I hope you guys were able to take something from this video and apply it to your own skill set. And let me know if you want me to do more videos like this, because I really enjoyed making this video and I'm excited to see what mechanic I should test next. That being said, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, please consider subscribing. It's a good way to let me know that I should keep making content like this moving forward, and I'll see you guys next time.